Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick here. Hope everybody who's watching this is having an unbelievable day. I hope up until this point you've had an unbelievable year. And if you're watching it, I hope that everything that you have set out to do, you've accomplished. If not, you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. You know, that's one of my mantras. Look, I've been telling you guys about the Legacy Wealth program for months. It's something that was actually created years ago. And I've only worked with a few people, select few people, on getting it really, truly fine-tuned. Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is getting your week off to a great start. As for me, it has been an unbelievable start to the year. Not without its challenges, but the challenges produce unbelievable rewards. You know my saying, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. Stand up, square your shoulders, get back into the fight. It's not about who has the best hand. It's about who continues to get back up and continues to press forward. So I encourage you, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you have experienced in life, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. No matter, in this instance, this is Money Monday, and it's connected to Wealth Building Wednesdays. And no matter where you started, no matter what happened, if you're still breathing and you have an idea of what you want to do financially, it's still possible. A lot of things have to change, beginning with your thinking, beginning with your discipline, beginning with consistency, but it is possible. This is not a magic event. This is not a sprint. This is about over time changing the way you approach a particular thing with a heightened and intensified increase in an understanding that produces the results that you desire. That's going to be in anything you want to do in life. How much are you investing in understanding what you're trying to do? How much are you investing in the work that it takes to become the person that you're trying to be? Because it's not about what you want as much as it's about who you are and what you're capable of doing. If you're not capable of producing it, you're never going to have it. Can you become? Absolutely. So there's nothing you can't have. The question is, are you willing to put in the work to become the type of person that can have the type of things you want? It's the people who are willing to do what the vast majority won't do to have what the vast majority won't have. It's that simple. It's about commitment. It's about staying the course. It's about understanding that life is on a continuum and there are a bunch of things that are going to happen. This is Money Monday. We're going to talk today about the importance of hedging your income to protect against catastrophic loss in the instance in which your primary income source is eliminated. You hear me talking all the time about my 7-day online business course that teaches you how to literally create spaces to generate revenue online and do it within 7 days. It is the actual formula or blueprint, whatever you want to call it, that makes it sound good. It's that same thing I consistently use today. I've been using it since 2010. I consistently and still use it now to create avenues and channels in which I am able to hedge my primary source of income, which is primarily coming now out of the Visionetics Institute, working with people around the world. Literally had my first session with a new client in Sweden today. And I've been able to do this around the world, and it is a blessing to have that happen. It is a start and a finish to something. It is staying the course. And I want to talk to you about the fact that you can do this and you can do it relatively inexpensively. What I have always believed in is far too many people look for this unbelievable amount of capital that they've got to have in order to get a business started. That's because they got an idea of what they want, and this is how much it costs to get in the game. I'm about getting in the game. I'm probably never going to get in the game where I want to play, But I know if I get my foot in the door that I have the capacity to learn, I have the capacity to observe, I have the capacity to expand, I have the capacity to do a bunch of things that's going to eventually move me up the ladder and get me in the spaces of the people who can give me the opportunity I need. But what I refuse to do is sit around waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for everything to fall in line, waiting for all the dominoes to fall before I jump in. Get in the game. And this is what this particular blueprint does. It sits up and says, go in at the lowest entry point. Number one, the beautiful thing of what I like about low entry points is it's not going to take a whole lot for me to reach profitability. It doesn't even have to mean that a whole lot of money is coming in. It just means that I didn't spend a lot of money to get in. So I'm going to make the money I spent to get in back relatively soon. Now, everything that's coming in isn't covering an initial burn rate that's eating up a whole lot of startup capital. What now I can do is evaluate what's coming in, how it's coming in, and how it's going to be dispersed in order to grow the business. That's another thing that you have to learn if you're talking about being an entrepreneur, is that everything that comes in isn't meant to be spent. It doesn't go into the profit coffer. It goes into a strategic plan to scale out and grow your business to a point to where you feel you want it to be. And everything has to be scalable. The beautiful thing I love about the internet is scalability. The beautiful thing I love about the internet is scalability. Before I get off into the importance of hedging, and I want to point you to, I've been talking about the 7-day online business launch. If you missed it, you missed an opportunity to catch me actually teaching it live. Won't be doing that again. I designed the course to be a self-paced course without me involved in it. It was meant to free my time up, but people were asking, so I went on and I did it. But here's what I did. I recorded it. So I have that course of me teaching it recorded. You can get that. You can get a follow-up session with yours truly. And today only, I've knocked $70 off the course. Now here's the thing. That price is going to go up. I can just tell you this, because the cost of moving it completely and totally online and then getting the licenses and everything I need for all the material that goes with it is going to cost. And so the cost is going to go up, but it's going to be worth it, because the way it's going to be set up, it's going to give you a very distinct and unique way of doing things. I love how I set things up, because when I set them up, people win with them, period. This isn't me being cocky. This is just me. I have a 99.9 success rate with the people I work with. Why? Because I'm devoted and I'm committed, and I work with people who finish. If you finish with me, you win, period. Life isn't some abstract idea of some people are going to get it, some people won't get it, the world is working against you. The truth of the matter is, the moment that you make up in your mind to have something, the moment you make up in your mind that you're going to move toward it, the moment that you make up in your mind that you're 100% committed, God has designed this universe to conspire with you to bring it to you. The problem is, most people won't act on their faith. Most people won't step out and say, I'm going to do something. People will talk about it, but people are waiting on someone to escort them in. People are waiting on all the little lines to come in a row to get in. It's that step you take in the darkness that determines the outcome of your life. Let me tell you something. I want you to really, truly understand this. It is the step you take in the darkness. What do you mean? That step you take when there's no guarantee. See, I don't need faith to know that if I get up and I get in my car and I'm careful and no one hits me, I'm going to get to the store. That doesn't require faith. Now, we make it into a faith thing because we like to make stuff mysterious. That's a plan and a strategy and a follow through. The truth of the matter is, if I'm going to get to the store, anything outside of killing me, I'm going to get there. Even if I have an accident, I can get out of the truck and walk to the store. I'm going to get to the store. That I don't need faith for that. I just need to say, if I'm going to live, I'm going to get to the store. Now, where faith steps in is where the mind cannot see the end, where you can't reasonably and rationally put two and two together and come up with an outcome. That's when faith comes in. It's that decision you make in a dark moment that says, I'm going to have it. And if you're honest with yourself, when you make that choice, you're going to say, I don't know how I'm going to have it. I don't know what the next step is, but I know that I'm going to have it. I'm going to do whatever it takes within my moral compass, my level of ethics, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to make it happen. And when you do that, the universe starts to conspire with you. Why? Because God designed the universe to respond to what? Faith. I've said this for years. God, the universe, life, however you want to create it, write it, say it. It all falls under the creator. Is only going to meet you at the level of your expectations. You're never going to get consistently anything above or beyond what you expect for your life. If you keep expecting bad things to happen, you're going to put yourself in situations, you're going to behave in mindsets, you're going to have a self-talk, you're going to have an energy, and you're going to attract people that are going to keep negative things happen. If you make up in your mind that I'm going to do something unbelievably spectacular, it does not eliminate or bad things from happening. It doesn't exempt you from going through the storm, but it changes how you perceive the storm. It changes how you allow the storm to impact you. It starts to move from a situation where the storm is hurting and destroying me to the storm is strengthening me and giving me a resolve, giving me an identity and shaping and refining me. I'm coming out bigger and stronger than I went in. I am doing what I need to do to advance myself. And it removes the stress from the storm, because the storm isn't here to break me. I'm here to get somewhere, and the storm is getting me there, and it's making me strong enough to be there when I get there. That's the thing. We go in the gym. You don't go in the gym and stand up and look at the weights and get bigger, get stronger, get faster, lose weight, get more defined, build those abs that everybody talks about, build those arms that everybody. You don't do that by looking at the weights. You don't go into your class or go with your trainer and sit down and look and everything. You're gonna have to go in. You're gonna pick up some weights. You're gonna have to do some exercises. You're gonna have to do some drills. You're gonna have to do your dance workout, your yoga routine, whatever it is you do that gets you better. You're gonna have to actually do it. Same thing with life. You're gonna have to go in there. You're gonna actually have to do it. But when you step out on faith in that dark moment, say, I'm gonna have it, the universe starts to conspire to bring it to you. And every time you move toward it, it moves towards you. You're cultivating a seed you planted in your mind. Every time you take a step and move, every time you wake up and make a decision, today I will not quit. Guess what? You're moving towards it. But here's what I'm doing. In this situation where you can hedge your primary source of income, it was $397. It's going to eventually go up, but right now it's $397. But for today, I knocked $70 off. It's $327 only for today. It will go back. The same link will be active, but the price will be different. And so no matter what link you're looking at it, no matter when you saw this link now for the next, what time is it here? It's one. So for the next 10 hours and 59 minutes or so, 10 hours, 50 minutes or so, it's going to give you an opportunity to get this this package and learn how to create it. And you're going to understand why it's so important when I tell you about hedging your income. But for today only, it's going to be $70 off. So instead of $397, it's going to be $327. And that's a steal for what you're getting. You're going to roll that out on a regular basis once you get your business up and going, if you work it. I'm not making no promises on any particular amount, but if you can't earn $327 online, it ain't got nothing to do with the product. It's got everything to do with your work ethic. I'm telling you, period, point blank. Obviously, I know people that can sell BS, straight up crap, and get more than that on a regular basis. I watch it every day. You're going to have something that's worth selling, that's worth buying, that's going to help people. That's the one thing I'm going to tell everybody when I teach. Give good quality stuff. Give people stuff that's going to help them. Give them something that changes their life for the better. Give them something that helps them refine and enhance their life in some kind of way. And what you're doing is you're bringing a value to the table that will completely pay for itself in itself, and they will consistently come back to you to seek advice in the future. Just give them something that's actually true, that actually works. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to have high quality and be good. Now, let's talk about hedging your income. It's always been a good idea to have a diversity in income streams. It's also been always been a point in principle in wealth building to have multiple and diverse assets that you invest in. You don't want everything in one basket ever. And so, but yet we'll sit up and say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. In all different types and areas and spheres of life, we have this philosophy, except when it comes to our income. Most people are operating primarily off one income source, whether it's your job, whether it's your business, whether it's some type of retirement fund, if you're from the military or whatever. And, this isn't the point in time where I'm talking about whether you have a job or not. That's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother point. My thing is, no matter how awesome your job is, some people got some unbelievable jobs. And I've always said, man, pay me the right amount of money, put me in the right environment where I'm loved. You can make me call it a job, but I'm always going to have control of my outcome and my destiny. Why? Because there's going to be so much I have going on outside of what you brought me into that I'm never going to feel trapped. I'm never going to feel like I'm in a space where I'm unhappy. I'm never going to feel like I'm in a space where I'm being used or manipulated, because why? I have other things that I can rest myself on until I pull myself up and get to where I want to be. That's what hedging does in one way. Also, on a more essential level, if you've got a primary income, and this is going to be extremely important in 2023 and 2024, but definitely in 2023, we're going to see a lot of things shift in the market. It's just that time. The market is about to make corrections. We're going to have problems with the valuation of the dollar. We're going to see some movement in housing markets and a bunch of other stuff that the experts are talking about. But when you look at it, there's a lot of potential for volatility in economics. What that means is a lot of companies are going to be laying off. You're going to see a lot of shifts in economic movements and industries where what is working now and what is in demand now is going to shift. Here's the thing though, no matter how bad a market gets, there's always going to be a demand. And even if the demand is in information that can show you how to survive the downturn, there's always something. And I'm using a real simple uh, analysis here. People will make money during the downturn of the market telling people how to survive the downturn of the market. So it's always going to be something people are going to be in demand for and people are willing to spend money on, no matter how scarce money seems to be. The thing is, the problem with most people is everything's coming from one place. So if you get laid off, you get fired, something goes wrong in your industry, you're stuck. What you want to do is create these diverse income streams. Passive income streams are great, where you set up something, and once it's set up, you don't have to do a whole lot with it, but manage it, do it. Real estate is great in that area, especially if you have rental properties or you have commercial real estate where you are managing someone leasing in your building or whatever. That's great. You can bring in a management company, handle all that, and they're going to manage your expense versus profit balance sheets and operations. You just simply bring them in and let them do it. I'll tell people, if you're one of those people, you don't feel like dealing with your tenants, I don't care if you got one house, bring a management company in. Yeah, you're going to pay them a percentage of what's coming in every month, but you're not going to have to deal with the house. You're not have to deal with the phone calls about the plumbing and all that stuff like that. So that's one thing. And all that's great. And you need to own property. Real estate is a stabilizer. If you don't have property, you don't have your stabilizer. The market is great. The market is dynamic. The market can produce and do some things over a short period of time that is hard to mimic in any other area that you can get, unless you just happen to snap onto a startup company as a venture capitalist and hit, and then you get to win. But even then, at some point, that startup is going to end up going and trading publicly, and so it's going to be moving to that dynamic online. But it's a great place, but you want to stabilize it. Holding property, and again, holding property. I love the idea of flipping, and it's great, and you moving and you're getting money. Holding property is where you set your net worth and you stabilize your net worth. What you're going to find is so much can be done with your net worth, to the point to where you don't have to have so much cash on hand, which means you don't have to be as vulnerable to cash valuations fluctuating. And I can't express that enough right now. Having a whole bunch of cash is on hand is one of the most ridiculous things to do right now, because the dollar is in jeopardy. I can't stress that enough. The dollar's in jeopardy. The dollar hasn't been backed in, what's this, 2023. So we're talking 50 years. The dollar hasn't been backed by anything of substantiation. We took it off the gold standard in the early 70s. Once they said in 172, we took it off the gold standard. And so now it's primarily backed by debt. So if it's backed by debt, what is that? That means that the dollar is literally backed by consumers spending more than they have to spend. And a lot of that is us. And I'm making the assumption that the vast majority of people who are going to watch this are going to be people who look like me in some shape, form, or fashion, and can relate to who I am and where I come from and all of this other stuff, and vice versa. And so I'm speaking to my peoples predominantly, and those who may not be, get in where you fit in, because you could learn something. Here's the thing. when you're able to do something to go online, to me, yes, you want diversity. You want to be able to be in the market. You want to be able to be in venture capital. You definitely want to be able to be in real estate. You want to get into art. Those are some of the things that you can get into that have the ability to hold wealth, to hide wealth, and allow you to protect wealth without putting your wealth at jeopardy, especially when it's coupled with uh, when it's coupled with insurance and trust. When you're able to couple that with insurance and trust, you can do so much. And all of this stuff I actually teach. I don't just teach. I've brought in all kind of stuff, but I put the program together. There are so many major hitters that are giving advice in this course. And I don't even think I put the link in there because I really wanted people to focus on getting the front end of this up, which is revenue generation. The back end is wealth building. Revenue generation is what you bring in. Wealth building is what you keep and what you expand. And we talk about both of these. Mondays is wealth, revenue generation. Wednesdays is wealth building. And it's a process. No matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, it's a process. And everybody can do it. Everybody's starting from somewhere different. And a lot of people buy into the idea that because I don't have XYZ, I can't do XYZ. Do it at the level you can. If you have a cash app, you can get into investing. And I'm going to leave that alone. We're going to talk about how to leverage technology as a money-making mechanism versus some way to go play and have fun and laugh at everything. I ain't got nothing against being entertained. I like being entertained more when my stuff is together. I can't be entertained the way I want to be entertained when stuff ain't right. So that's just me. Now, let's go. And we're going to get through this and I'll be done. The internet offers the best and greatest place to create diverse streams of income at a low entry point. There are ways and times you can actually enter into a business operation, create a revenue stream generator with no money. Now, obviously, you got to pay for that course. But if you pay for that course, I'm going to show you how to find things that you can do. I'm going to show you how to create a landing page with no money. Show you how to create a website with no money. Now, obviously, show you how to have a domain name with no money. And all of these things are things you're going to need to do to create your online presence. And there are different varying ways. Show you how to create content generation streams, how you can monetize content, how you can monetize your own content, how you can look at, if you're bringing something of value, it is absolutely nothing wrong with asking people to contribute to what you're bringing to the table and you're sharing with them. If they continually coming, you can set up and create a membership for you to talk about whatever it is you talk about. I know someone who literally makes $1 million a year talking about, what is it, crocheting, or what's the other one, crocheting and knitting. She literally creates this, and she now does classes and online, and people are playing, and she's blowing up. And it all started with one sales funnel talking about, if you want to learn how to do this, and I think maybe, and she did it for, I forgot how many dollars she did it for, and like she got $12,000 the first time. And she just found a niche where people were interested in learning something, and she bought into it. And you'd be surprised how many people want to crochet and knit. And it's so many different things. And that's somebody that's immediately jumping into something they're passionate about. Another person got on to show people how to do roofing. It's just, there's no end to it. Then you don't even have to have your own product. You don't have to have your own service. You can promote other people's service. It's called affiliate marketing. You can have an idea of what you want to sell, and you don't want to go through the manufacturing and all that. There are companies that do all that and will brand it in your name and drop ship it to your client with your brand and your logo on it, but they created it. It's called drop shipping. All of that stuff can happen. You don't have to worry about inventory with drop shipping. You don't have to worry about servicing in most instances, because all of the return policies go right back to the manufacturer. Definitely great in affiliate marketing, because in affiliate marketing, you're promoting, once they buy from the person you're promoting, all of the service and follow up and back end of that deal goes with the person they bought it from. You just got them there. Now you're going to get a percentage of the sale. And the beautiful thing about affiliate marketing is you get the right company that brings you in as affiliate. Then you get the part of the you can get to be a part of the complete upsell process. In other words, you can promote shoes. The person clicks the links and buys the shoes. After they buy the shoes, they sell them the shirt, the cap, and everything else that goes with it. Then they sell them a yearly membership to get it at a discount. And you can get a piece of all that, even though the only thing you promoted was the shoes. And all of this stuff goes on, and as people are making it. And then there are things you can get on and you can automate. People don't talk about it a lot. But one of the things that I did that helped me get on in the beginning was an Amazon store. And I was talking to one of my clients, and we're actually now in the process of talking about ways to branch out of what we're doing, to do something different, to get out of certain things we got ourselves into that we need to continue to do that we really don't want to do. And we've been talking about it. You know, she's a client, but she's also unbelievably astute in business, and we share ideas. And she mentioned Amazon. I said, they still have Amazon stores? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, man, I might go check that out again because Amazon builds it for you. You just pick what you want in your store. You build it. And if you have a website, you can have a page with an Amazon store on it. It's so many ways of doing this. The idea is you got to be willing to invest in yourself. You're going to have to be willing at some point, say, I'm going to go do this. It doesn't have to be with me. It's got to be in someone you believe in, something that you can look at and say, okay. And the crazy thing, people say, well, does this really work? I'm like, you're sitting here watching me. If you're sitting here watching me, do you think out of all the people watching me, I have 5,000 people on my Facebook friends list with another 12,000 followers. I have the same thing on YouTube, have the same thing. Do you don't think out of the people that see that I can get 10% of those people to sit up and see my value and get them to do things that's going to help themselves and at the same time compensate me? And whether it's buying a book, whether it's buying a course, whether it's paying for time with me. Am I telling you it's easy? Hell no, I'm not telling you it's easy. I wake up every day, but the beauty is I'm waking up doing something I love. So nobody has to throw me out the bed, push me out the bed, drag me out the bed. I'm doing something I literally wake up every day, get excited about doing. I'm showing people how to do things I've done. And I'm constantly growing in who I am, so I have more to add and more to bring. And that's the thing that you get to do in business, is you get to develop and grow into who you're going to be in any given area. The beautiful thing I like also about creating businesses online is I don't have to start a business in my passion online. My passion doesn't even have to be involved in the first 5 businesses I start. But what I do, if I start those businesses and those are viable businesses and they are producing something, they can fund my passion. I have been operating the Odyssey Project for over 20-something years. 20-something years I've served the inner city community. I've done over 78,000, pushing 80,000 hours of academic research. That 80-some hours has went into thousands and thousands of hours of program development and implementation, Black Men Lead, Rite of Passage Initiative, something that's growing and expanding in service and in reach. Programs for young women, the think tank that observes and look. And in the 20 plus years that I've done that, I've raised a total of less than 15 grand, less than 20,000 for over 20 years worth of work. And anybody with any kind of idea of how things work in this world know you can't run a business with that amount of money over 20 years. Guess where the rest of the money came from? I funded my passion with businesses that I wasn't really crazy about, but they put in work. I also funded the passion of building the business that I am passionate about. The Visionary Institute was birthed out of me creating businesses that would eventually get me there. I took skill sets I had. The first thing I ever did online to earn money was write. I'm still getting paid from some of the things that I wrote years ago in a number of different ways. And I teach people copywriting. AI has kind of taken that over, but I teach people how to use AI to leverage writing. So everybody said, well, AI is pushing everybody out. No, you got to learn how to use AI to your advantage. Because no matter how dynamic AI is, and AI is getting pretty crazy. We talk about it. I have a guy who I'm pretty close to who's a tech guy. I mean, still I'm talking about stuff to give you a headache. But we talk about it. And the thing is, this AI thing is coming around at a rapid pace, and it's going to be involved in so much. You can see it in so many different elements of what you already do and never give it a second thought. But here's the thing. AI, to me, can never organically be a dreamer. It can learn, but can it create an idea out of nothing? Your mind has the capacity to do that. And as long as your mind has the capacity to do that, your mind has the capacity to take what AI is doing and use it to your benefit. No matter how much of what AI is doing that is assuming what humans used to do, there are nuances that it cannot yet get to. And I don't ever see it being able to do that, because the vision and the dream is a spiritual connection between you and God. That spiritual connection will never exist in artificial intelligence. That's the difference. You're never going to be outperformed by something that wasn't designed to do what you do. You just have to learn how to use it to your benefit and not be afraid of it, because it's coming whether you like it or not. And so that's the thing that you have to look at. That's the thing you have to be. But what I'm encouraging everybody to do is understand that in order to seize this, in order to hedge your primary source of income, you're going to have to be willing to create multiple streams of income. The easiest way to do that right now is to do it online. Now, the more you have to invest, the more refined it is, the more attractive it's going to be, the higher performing it's going to be, the more you have to put in ad revenue, the faster you're going to get your company up and going, the higher conversion rates you're going to have, and all of that. But organically, I didn't start with an ad budget at all. I had to learn SEO. I had to learn the importance of writing the right words, having the right keyword density, understanding how Google at that time, and Google has went through so many different algorithms since I started. It's unbelievable. But learning how Google was processing content at that time and what was going to give me the highest ranking, what was going to get my stuff out there, what places to go to share my links. Facebook is a haven for promoting stuff. There's a group for every freaking thing under the sun on Facebook. And if you get on there and you share relevant content without promoting first, and then all of a sudden start leaving hints that you've got an answer to something somebody's asking, and they can look and see how you responded, and they're going to see you as an authority in that area, and they're going to be willing to see what you're talking about selling. I'm telling you that there are so many different ways to do this. You've got to learn it, but there's absolutely no reason to be sitting unprotected, unhedged in a world that's sitting up saying, show me something, sell me something. Absolutely no way. Again, I don't ever want to get on here. I'm not the guy. That's why you never see me talking about what I've made. You never see me giving you any indication. The thing is, I'm sitting here and I get up every day and I do what I want to do for a living. If I'm making 50,000, I'm doing it and I'm living off of it. I'm making more than that, trust me. But if I'm sitting up by doing, I'm happy. Ask me how, because if I was only making 50, I'm making 50 doing what I want. And I'm living a life that I am passionate about. Am I content with it? No, I got numbers in my head for me and my family for way in the future, and how I'm doing it and setting up. And it's nothing I'm preaching to you or selling to you that I'm not already practicing. But that's not the thing. The thing is this: if someone's doing something at any level, it can be scaled out. There's no such thing as a cap. There's no such thing as lack. Lack is an idea that they sell us, and once we buy into it, it locks us in. God designed the world to be a world of abundance. The thing is, you have to get out of your mind, out of your head, and go out and find the opportunities. It was George Bernard Shaw that said that, don't tell me about circumstances. He said, don't tell me about circumstances. I don't believe in circumstances. You know what I believe? I believe that the people in this world who get on are the people who wake up every day, go out into the world and find the opportunities that they need. If the opportunities don't exist, they create them. That's what it is. It's about saying, I'm not going to be beat down. I'm not going to be torn down. I'm not going to lose. I'm telling you, I've been at some extreme lows. And I don't know if that person is still on here, but there's a person that when I was at my lowest, was one of the closest friends I had, and was there. And Devon, if you're still here, man, I still love you, bro. And I've been there, but what he'll tell you and anybody will tell you is I didn't stay. It wasn't my place of camping out. I tell people all the time, pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. Suffering is identifying with the painful moment so much that you literally camp out in it. You wallow in it. You become affixed to it. The first thing you lead to when you start talking about people is this pain that you're going through, how this person treated you, how your job did you, how hard it is to pay your bills. And all you're doing is reinforcing an idea that you're helpless, that there's nothing that you can do about what you're going through. And that's not true. I don't care where you're at. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care how hard it's been. Trust me, there's some people you're not going to be alone. You'll be surprised at some of the things that some people you're looking at and going, man, I wish I could be successful like them, what they've went through. You don't know how many people, when I'm sitting in a circle of brothers who are talking about doing things, every last one of us are business owners, are independent consultants. We don't wake up every morning and go report to anybody. People are calling us. And we're sitting in this circle. You will be surprised at how many brothers at some point slept in their vehicle. Now, I'm not recommending doing that if you don't have to. I'm not sitting up saying go out there and throw away and go jump in your car. I'm saying I hope you never have to go through what we went through. I'm saying I hope you never have to be at that low. But being at that low isn't the end. That's what I want you to get into your mind. That's what I want you to understand. Being at that low isn't the end. Having your heart broken isn't the end. Having a situation with your business come crumbling down isn't the end. Going through whatever it is in life that you're going through isn't the end. The end is going to be written by how you respond to it. Are you a victim? I refuse to be a victim. I refuse to be a victim of anything that I've gone through in my life. I would rather look at what I did that allowed it to happen. I would rather look at things I could have done differently. I'd rather look at how I can hedge myself. I can't sit up and get mad 5 years from now if things have crumbled and went to crap when I had a chance to hedge what I was doing and decided I was riding smooth and I was riding sweet and didn't need it. And then it falls down. I don't care if somebody hit me managed something we were supposed to do the wrong way and I lost everything because of them. Well, if I'd have hedged, it wouldn't have destroyed me because I'd had other things that would have held me in place until I can get it together. I'm telling you, I'm riding a hedge right now. That's why I'm excited about, because I'm riding a hedge. My primary income hasn't been taken away, but it's feeding the growth of my business and I can't attack it or I'll destroy the business. But I'm riding a hedge. I'm telling you, you don't understand the beauty of this thing because most people are just happy with getting paid. They don't look at how they're getting paid. They don't look at the dynamic of how they're receiving money. They just get it and they don't realize how close they are to being desolate, how close they are to not being able to pay bills, how close they are to losing things, how close they are to sleeping in their vehicle, how close they are to being homeless. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't see homeless people any differently than I see myself. I see them in a place. I see them in a situation. I see them in a circumstance. When I talk to them as if I'm talking to anyone else. I love on them because I know what they're going through. And let me tell you something. I see hope in their eyes. It's on. I don't believe you can get too low to where you can't come out. I believe the lower you allow yourself to descend, the harder it is to come out, but you can come out. If you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. But you're going to have to be willing to stand up and make some hard decisions. You're going to have to be willing to stand up and be disciplined. You're going to have to be willing to sit up and say, you know what? I'm not going to allow myself to let my emotions guide me. My emotions saying, I want those boots. My emotions are saying, man, it'd be nice to get that new whip. My emotions are saying all the things that my life doesn't need me to do. My life is saying, invest here. My life is saying, grow here. My life is saying, instead of go hang out and party, read that. My life is saying, this is where discipline is going to anchor you and get you to the place you need to be. Discipline in decision making, discipline in behavior, discipline in the way I talk to myself about myself. Oh man, self-talk is destroying a bunch of people because you're talking your circumstances instead of talking your destiny. Yeah. And that's another thing. People used to look at me and go like, hey, I know what you're going through. Yet you're up here smiling. You're up here at this homeless shelter. When I was going through my roughest time, I'm gonna share this with you. And people know I was in Dallas when I went through this. Went through my roughest time. You know what I did? I went and found a food truck in Fort Worth. I was in Dallas. I went and found a food truck driver. I said, hey man, look, this is what I'm willing to do for you. This is what I do, and I'm willing to do it for you. And it was going to help him promote his truck. One of the businesses I still have going right now, Odyssey Media Group and Myriad Business Solutions, helping people with their businesses. I said, I'm gonna help you with this. It was a fledgling then, but I sold it to him. I said, I'm gonna help you promote your business. This is what I want for you. I want you to take one day each week, Saturday, 3 hours, come down to the bridge. The bridge is the largest homeless shelter in Dallas. Come down to the bridge and feed the people there. And then I went to a number of different stores where they collected clothes and they resold them, thrift stores. And I said, I want you to donate an X amount of dollars, and I want you to show up with your table and donate. And you can have your name out there, and people will know where you're from, who come by, because people who are not homeless are going to also come by because it's going to be an event. And do you know, while I was going through the roughest time of my life, I did this for months where I had them out there. We did it so big that cops showed up and shut us down almost every weekend. And the thing is, I wasn't whining and complaining. And none of the people that I was helping knew what I was going through. None of the people I was working with to get things done knew what I was going through. But what I found out is when you bless people when you're in need, oh man, things change. But what happened is I just kept going. But that person told me, that person says, you're in denial. You need to really see. I said, I'm not denying. See, you're looking at my circumstance. You're looking at what I'm going through. No, I've already acknowledged what I'm going through. I don't need to give it a lot of attention because I understand the more attention I give it, the bigger it becomes. A bunch of you are literally stressing yourself to death because you can't get your eyes off the problem. You know what I focused on? I focused on my destiny versus the circumstances. I focused on the fact that God designed me for something more than being in the moment that I was in. I focused on the fact that there was too much inside of me to give the world, that I was going to remain there if I was alive. I focused on the fact that I get to set the course of my destiny because my thoughts are the seeds of my destiny. So what I fix my mind on to think, I'm manifesting in the sixth dimension. And by the time it reaches the third dimension where I can touch it, I'm in control of it. But most people are doing that. So what would happen with me is I saw the circumstance. I saw the undesirable circumstance, as it's called, in my meditation. And what I had learned and what I say in my meditation, there will, no matter what obstacle, this is the end of my meditation, no matter what obstacle or undesirable circumstance crosses my path, I refuse to accept it. Why? There can be no undesirable circumstance or obstacle to the mind of God, which is in me, around me, and serves me now. In other words, I have direct access to the mind of God. And that means I have direct access to the solution for every problem. Now, the thing may not come when I want it to. It may not be in the timing that I think it should be. But if I'm still breathing, I'm in the fight, and I have yet to see a point where I didn't get what I set out to have. But the question is, are you willing to put into yourself? It has gotten to the point that when I have a negative circumstance fall in front of me and I'm looking at it going, oh, here we go. Immediately I stop myself saying, nope, we're not talking like that. We're not behaving like that. We're bigger than that. We're bigger than the problem because our purpose is bigger than the problem. God is bigger than the problem. We have direct access to the mind of God. Set your eyes on what's about to happen good in your life. So now I'm fixed on the destiny and the destination rather than the circumstance. And what happens is that communication with God on a spiritual level, where God's spirit is communicating with my spirit, thereby communicating the answer in a non-audible way that is so much clearer than talking between me and you that you can't imagine it if you haven't experienced it. But it's a confidence that comes with that is unshakable. And what happens is at a certain point, you just get to a place where something in your spirit disagrees with your circumstances. It's something in your spirit that says that can't shake me, that can't break me, that can't stop me. I don't care what's going on. I'm about to make it. I'm trying to get you to understand something. You can have a great plan, and getting online is a great plan. You can have a great plan. Getting into the stock market is a great plan when you learn how things work. Another thing, stop jumping into things without understanding how things work. That's why I'm not just telling you to get online, because you can get online and blow a whole bunch of money and get nothing. And you get online, spend a very little money and make a lot. That's why I'm not telling you. You got to learn how things work. You got to get somebody that can show you how things work. You got to learn how to read financials. You got to learn how to do a business plan. You got to learn how to do marketing. You got to learn how to do all these things to win. But somebody can teach you that. But here's the thing. You can have all that. But if you don't have an understanding of the power of God in your life to move things that seem unmovable, you're going to crumble under the pressure of fear, the pressure of uncertainty, the pressure of dark times. You're going to have some bad moments. You're going to have some setbacks. You're going to have some disappointments. You will definitely experience delay. Delay does not mean denial. That is probably the best lesson I've learned. Just because it doesn't come in the time I want to. And I'm not talking days and weeks. I'm talking about years. Oh, we ain't trying to put no years off it or nothing. If it don't look the way we want to in a couple of years tops, it's not meant for us. It's just not in God's plan. It's not meant for us. God has literally told us, whether you're a Christian, whether you practice Islam, whether you're a Jew, whether you are Buddhist, whether you are Hindu, whether you are spiritualist, it's all in holy scriptures of all of those places, but it's also in the everyday communication that nothing will be held from you that is good. So if I mean to use it for good for me and use it for good for others, it cannot be withheld from me. It absolutely cannot be withheld. It may be delayed, but it cannot be withheld. In other words, if I persevere, it will be mine. The problem is we quit. And I have lately been using the analogy of Kevin Hart. And I'm not trying to label him as being anything other than Kevin Hart. I'm not. So whether you think he's funny or not, this is what I can tell you about Kevin Hart. He's the highest paid comic of all time. He's the highest selling comic of all time, passing Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, all the people that we know and see as the greats. He's outsold the kings of comedy collectively. Doesn't mean he's funny. It doesn't mean he's better. It just means that at some point he's reached the level of and pinnacle of success. And it's crazy. But here is what most people don't know about Kevin. Because you look at Kevin, you see a 5'3" kid, and you go, man, the little young dude that showed up into the world. What you don't realize is Kevin was told no 19 years in a row by Hollywood, by the entertainment industry. You're not good enough. You don't have the it factor. You're never going to be Eddie. You're never going to be Bernie. You're never going to be this. You're never going to be that. He had at least 2 sitcoms get canceled. So even when they said we're going to give you a little trial over here, didn't get done. It's got canceled. 19 years, Kevin, you ain't good enough. Kevin woke up every day and kept going. Kevin said, this is who I am and this is what I'm going to be. Most people have been told you to quit. Most people will sit up there. You done told yourself to quit after 19 years, unless you just simply say. Now, here's the thing, and this is what I always tell people. I don't look at the delay. I look at the promise. And I guess some kind of way Kevin had to, because it's the only way you make sense to stay with something 19 years that ain't working for you. So I don't look at the delay. I look at the promise. See, there's a promise in the delay that most people don't see. The promise is the longer you wait, the greater the reward. I tell people all the time, God redeems time. So when you wait on something, you're fighting for it, you fought for it. Man, I've been working on it. Shoot, most businesses don't even reach profitability 3 years, 3.5 years in. And that's great planning and good funding. Most people are going to fail at business at some point. The thing is, do you have a plan to work around your failures? That's how it's got to be. The thing is, if you don't get out there, you definitely fail. You fail horribly. Your failure becomes final because you never tried. But here's the thing. In that delay is promise. Now, Kevin is set. Kevin is set at it. It took 19 years for him to break through. But in the few years since he's broken through, it's covered anything he could have possibly went through during that time. Now, everybody's not built like that. Everybody's not built to be uncomfortable. And in the seeking of that comfort, they never challenge themselves. They never raise the level of or demand the level of expectation enough to get out that comfort zone. It's scary as hell out there. I get it. I'm not telling you. Like I said, everybody's not built for that. You know, and the truth of the matter is, if it was up to me, I would fix it to where nobody would have to risk it all to get it. But I didn't fix it that way. Guess who did? God. And here's the thing that I'm going to leave you with. If God designed you to win, but he also set up the winning moment to be on the other side of challenge, do you think he's going to let the challenge destroy you? No matter how uncomfortable it seems, no matter how out you're looking at it going, man, it's no way you could have told me I would go through what I would go through 2010 through 2012 in my life ever. And the thought of it, matter of fact, those were my greatest fears. And just the thought of it was like, man, I don't see how anybody could ever. And here I was, and God kept me. Didn't just keep me, strengthened me. Didn't just strengthen me, enlightened and illuminated my path. Didn't just do that, sit up and showed me things unimaginable and opened up the gates of abundance. And my abundance isn't just experienced in what's in my bank account or what's flowing through the coffers of my companies. My abundance is experienced in the way that my mind sees things, in the way that I'm able to touch people's lives and change people's lives. You know what? In everything that I went through in that period of time in Dallas, I had a person show up about 6 months ago on one of my feeds, and I was actually giving the people the business about not appreciating, the opportunities that are in front of them and a bunch of other stuff. And this person showed up and they said, look, I just want to stop in and say that you saved my life. I'm like, people say that and it's normally some form of a euphemism. It's a metaphorical presentation. And you go, okay, cool. You're welcome. I said, no, you don't understand. 6 years ago, I lost my husband. We had been married for 28 years. He was the only thing I knew. He was my strength. He was my heart. He was my everything. And I lost him to cancer. And I was lost. I didn't know who I was. I didn't see any reason in giving or living. And I came across your video. You know how many times I've heard that. I've came across your video. It's not a coincidence that somebody comes across what you are blessing the world with at the very moment they need it. That's not no coincidence. That's divine providence in play. But anyway, she stood up and said, in the moment that I was about to give up on myself and I had convinced myself that I was going to join my husband, you showed me that there was a reason for living. And I started to really work on myself and change and come out of it and heal. A year and a half ago, I met this unbelievable man. We are now married. That another person comes on and tells me, you know what, 2 years ago, I was about to kill myself and I came across your video. Another person tells me, who I'm now partnering with and is in West Africa. 4.5 years ago, I sit up and I'm looking and I don't know where I'm going with my career. I'm a nurse, but I'm tired. I'm burnt out. I'm just ready to throw in the towel. And then I start listening to you. She's now a PhD in nursing, is a nurse practitioner, and is over in West Africa working right now. She's also a partner of mine in dealing with issues with mental health with young Black kids. This is just that alone. You can't put a price tag on that. Person I worked with this morning says, I have desired to work with you for years. And this blew my mind. Said, when I looked at the cost of what it took to work with you, I was literally about to take out a loan until you made this special offer to work with you at a fraction of that. And I jumped on it. I can't tell you what sometimes goes through my head when I'm sitting up going against the grain and knowing that the people who keep the books are going to lose their freaking mind when I make an offer where I'm giving away something basically. But my heart, I learned to trust my heart. I learned to trust that's where God is speaking most intelligently into my life. And so sometimes it doesn't make business sense. And I know that it has to over the long haul. And that's why I've got people who protect me in that area, who make sure I don't give away the house, because I love this. I love my people, but I love life and humanity in general. And I want to help people. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is that alone made what I went through. To hear somebody say, I'm here because of you, I know it's not really because of me, it's because I'm living out God's purpose in my life. But I'm also willing to acknowledge that I have something special inside of me that gives an immeasurable value to who I am to this world. And so that makes me abundant. So when I say my thing, I say what I told you earlier, that no matter what obstacle or undesirable circumstance crosses my path, I refuse to accept it, for it is nothing but an illusion. There can be no obstacle or undesirable circumstance to the mind of God, which is in me and around me and serves me now. But then I go into the next part. I also say, I am committed to excellence. I am adequately sufficient to meet every challenge. And this is where I am abundant. Not I have abundance, not that I'm experiencing abundance. I am abundant. I am wealthy. I am debt free. I am powerful. I am relentless. I am dominant in achieving the things I go through. It's not about what I'm seeing in my circumstance. It's about what I'm walking into. I've learned to speak things that are not as though they were, and then walk into what I've spoken. That's what I want to teach you. It's so much more than mechanism and plan. It's so much more. And we can do some unbelievable things with our lives if we only try. So again, I'm about to get off of here. I wasn't planning on going this long, but hey, right now, today only, I've knocked $70 off of the 7-day online business course. So if instead of $397, it's $327. And it's going to be that way for today only. Tomorrow, when you click that link, it will be back to $397. At some part, pilot in March is going to definitely go up to cover the cost of moving the entire program online. With that being said, I'm going to check out of here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. My challenge to you is that you do the same thing. So if you're serious about creating multiple streams of income, I'm going to show you the least expensive way to do it, and do it over and over and over and over again. This isn't a one offer. I'm going to teach you something. You get to put up a business and that's it. No, you get to practice this every time you create or see, or your mind comes up with some crazy idea where you can help somebody online and you can get paid for it. Sometimes you're going to do it and you're not going to charge anybody, but it's going to show you how to reach the most people and get it out there to the people who need it. This is what you're going to get. So again, I thank you guys for spending time with me. I thank you guys for loving. Hey, little sis, I see you pop in. My little sister Donica. The chance to do something spectacular in this world is ever present. Those who do it are those who are willing to break through that wall of fear and uncertainty, to get outside of their comfort zone and do the exceptional, do the extraordinary, do the phenomenal. Those who get things that most people don't have are the people willing to do what most people won't do. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day.